Well, hello boys and girls, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a deep dive into this Integra and see what we're looking at, honestly. Just assess the situation, assess the car, and dig into it. So here we have this car. It has a B18 B1 with a GSR transmission and obviously a cheap eBay turbo kit. Basic turbo 101 is that usually you run a hose from the wastegate down to the turbo, and that's what provides your boost and your boost control. And you see this little T here. They obviously have this T here to bleed off pressure, and when you do that, when you put a leak into this line, it creates more boost, causing the boost to actually rise because it takes more work to actually open the spring. So there's a spring and a diaphragm in here that I'm assuming ballpark usually be somewhere in between 7 to 10 pounds or something like that. So usually when you put a T off, you can actually almost, in a perfect world, almost double it. I believe. If I'm wrong, correct me. It does have an intercooler down there. Another telltale sign is that the car used to be an automatic. You can tell by that mount right there, which looks pretty beat, pretty terrible. Might have to give Brian a holler at Hossport because these mounts are poo-poo. So oddly enough, I've actually got in touch with the previous couple of owners of this car that actually gave me some history on it, the swap history and all that stuff. So apparently the car used to have a really built engine setup and then was turboed for a long time. That's why some of the stuff in here is kind of old, doesn't really make sense. But the B18 B1 and the turbo setup is relatively new. So it took me some digging to kind of figure out what the history of this thing is. So the story is that this car was very well cared for. Somebody put a lot of time and effort into it and eventually blew the engine. From what I can tell, the front end conversion was done pretty much the right way, although somebody put a slice in it here, which I'm not happy about. So whoever installed this front end did it the right way from everything that I can tell so far. Now, I am going to be definitely ripping into this thing, probably gonna be wire tucking all this and just cleaning this up, because honestly, this car is pretty straight, pretty clean. But for the most part, underneath the hood, it's honestly kind of atrocious. So we're hopping into the car just for audio's sake, because I know it's probably pretty echoey in the garage here. The interior is phenomenally clean, which is one of my favorite things, of course. And from the looks of everything, one thing I had to do was put my Battlecraft shift knob in there. Love that thing. Shift link is just pretty sloppy. It does have a K-tuned dual bend shifter, but I don't know. Maybe it won't stay. It has an old school Apexi turbo timer, which is one of the things that have kind of lended itself to being obviously turboed for a long time, because this is definitely old school and you can tell it's not brand new. Anyway, so when I first drove the car, I was babying it because I had a 2-hour drive home and I wanted to just get the car home. However, after cruising on the highway for an hour, I was cruising in 5th gear and I decided, hey, step on the gas and see what this thing can do. As I stepped on the gas and it, it started to boost. Car immediately started to pull to the right, at 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour. And I looked at the boost gauge and it almost showed like it was hitting 20. It was a little sketchy at first, but I didn't really think too much of it until I started getting into third, trying to push it in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th gear. The car would immediately just shoot to the right, making me think, well, maybe there's something wrong with the steering rack or tie rod ends, either inner or outer tie rods. So the first thing upon the inspection was I showed you guys the little T-fitting, which was open before. Once I capped that, it brought the boost down to hit like somewhere around 8 or 9 on the gauge. Also, it quit pulling as hard to the right, but at the same time, the driver's side tire is nearly bald and the passenger side tire is just about brand new with a no-name tire. With that being said, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why I was pulling to the right so hard. So my goal now at this point is to try to get the rear tires on the front, because they seem like they're pretty good as far as traction wise. I don't know if they have any camber wear, honestly. So I don't know if I showed you guys this before, but it does have 5-lug and spoon brakes. Probably going to be selling these wheels off. Maybe the 5-lug, I'm not sure. But you could see that this tire is just about had it. And this tire is practically brand new. So at this point, I'm not really sure 100% of what my exact plans are. The B18 B1 seems pretty healthy, and from the previous owners, it's only got roughly about 1,000 miles on it since they put the turbo kit on it. Doesn't knock, doesn't smoke excessively or anything like that. I feel like if I can keep the boost down to anywhere between 7 and 9 PSI, it would actually be pretty fun of a car and just really clean this engine bay up, maybe put a VTEC hat on it. But the good news is it's beautiful today, so I might pull the car out and see if I can't do a pull or two. My plans for the FK7 have changed a little bit with the current situation. Thinking about selling off the blue RPF ones as well as these RPF ones. So if anybody's in the Orlando area and wants to buy these wheels, holler at me. Probably gonna let them go for like 1,500 or something. The tires are brand new. They probably have maybe 1,500 miles on these tires. No camber wear, nothing. So they're practically brand new. The wheels are in great shape. So I just got back from South Carolina, getting all the stuff out of the shop. All my tools are kind of all piled in here. I completely forgot the one thing I don't have is a jack and jack stands. So I may just try to pull the factory jack out of there and see if I can't, you know, rotate these tires. I don't know if you guys can see that. Check out that sweet exhaust. Yeah. Anybody got an exhaust in Orlando they want to hook me up with? So I got this thing up on the jack. Little bullshit jack I got. So, as you can tell, this actually got some Firehawks in the back with some pretty good meat on it. So I'm gonna try to rotate it to the front. This thing's bald. All right, let me pop these off, take a look at everything.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds of.
Still got pads, not much left on the front. It seems like we got a pretty good bit of meat on the back. Putty club suspension. Did it the old school way. I've got this side tires rotated. Boy, getting too old for this. So now I just got to do the other side. All right, so we've got the rear wheels rotated all on the front. All of the lugs are tight. I'm gonna bring the lug key and everything with me just in case things get a little wobbly. I gotta pull over and tighten them up. So. It's been a while since I've done this the old school way. I'm too old fat for this. We're gonna try to take this thing out on the road and switch to the GoPro. Yeah, I've got nothing to really hold on to the GoPro with, so we're just gonna have to hold on and wing it, buddy. Boosting high, or the gauge is just really off. Okay, so I just did one pull. I wanted to have both hands on the wheel. Huge improvement with 2 good tires on the front. It seems to pull straight now. I don't feel like I'm gonna die. That's not heavily patrolled or low speed limit. You can tell the suspension is way too tight. This thing is just so unbelievably loud. This would actually be pretty civil and pretty fun if it just wasn't so loud. Everybody's just staring at you, so they just want to get around you. That's what the other annoying thing about it being loud is. It's just so fucking loud. Trying to get up to an area where I can turn this thing around and kind of give it a couple pulls. I don't know if I can get a couple, but at least do something. So the air is cooling down. It's pretty dark in here. You probably can't see me. The air was cooling down. The rain is about to come, so I had to get the car off the road, back into the garage. It seems a whole world of difference of so much better with actually having some tires up front that aren't making me walk all over the road. It seems really fun. I think we can definitely have some fun with this thing. Now I think the trick is just, you know, meet up with some other people, take them for a ride, see what they think, start to clean the car up and start to see what we can do. Alright guys, so I was just finishing editing this video and I realized I didn't close it out. Just want to say thanks for watching this video. Click like if you liked it, click subscribe if you haven't already. I want to get to 100,000 subscribers. Let's finally get there. Also follow me on Instagram. You can keep up with me there. Put a link on the screen. If you want to get in touch with me about anything that I'm selling, blue RPF ones, or make an offer on the spoon calibers or the 5 lug or whatever, hit me up on Instagram. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out and keep living your dreams.